Welcome in everyone. Thanks for coming in for another Sunday live stream. This one's a heart to heart. I hope everyone's doing well. Um, it's been a while since we did an actual heart to heart, so I don't know. Don't really expect much from it, but it's kind of just a place where we sit around the sofa, sit around the living room, and just chat and just see how everyone's doing. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself today, so if you don't want to hear that, that's okay. I don't blame you. I'm not that interesting. But people did put that down as a suggestion when I asked what topics they wanted to hear about. So, welcome into the channel. Welcome into the Heart to Heart. This is the live stream on Sundays. Sometimes it's going to be a heart to heart, sometimes it'll be a little bit more on either jewelry or reselling or all of the above. And of course, all your questions are always welcome, no matter what they are, if they're personal. As long as they're not rude or crude or anything like that, there's no reason why I can't address them. So again, thank you for being here. How was your weekend? Did everybody do okay this weekend? Did the weather treat you well? I know Chicago had their first snowfall on Halloween. Several states, I think, already had their first snowfalls. We had a really nice, cool week, actually. It's so strange. We had 30s and 40s and then 70s, and I actually didn't even go outside today, and that really makes me feel sad. I really need to incorporate more outdoor time, and really, I think that's the best medicine for anyone. That and comedy, right? Let me just welcome a few people that are popping in, and again, I did pin a little prep at the top, and that says if you have a question, be sure and capitalize it for me, or if you use the little symbol at, it sometimes highlights it in yellow and I can see it better. And if I happen to miss it completely, just repost it. But I don't think it'll be that hard for me to see it. Okay. So I am going to just take the beginning to say hello to a few friends as they hop in, and thank you all who are here. And by friends, I mean viewers and subscribers and anyone who wants to pop in. Hi, Miss Becky. It's crazy weather here, right? Hot and then cold and then crazy. Hi, Miss Vanessa. I'm wearing the Tiffany. I love it. I think it's so versatile. When I saw your video, I thought maybe it was going to be bigger and more like after 5 or something to but I kind of blended it with my turquoise today because I'm wearing a black shirt. So I thought it was nice. I really like it. And thank you so much for the wonderful gift. The ring was beautiful. But yeah, it's been a crazy month. It was really strange not seeing very many. Oh, I got to sneeze. That's the last thing I need to do. I feel a sneeze coming on. We didn't have very many trick-or-treaters this year. I thought that was kind of strange. I usually run out of candy. And we didn't even go through one bag. And luckily I told Robert, just buy one bag because I hate saving them and then I wind up eating them. So, but no, we didn't even get rid of one bag. It was really strange. How was it in your neck of the woods? Do you guys still get trick-or-treaters over where you live? We usually get a lot. I think we even had sometimes some of the families will rent or put together some kind of a hayride. They'll get Dad's pickup truck and like a flatbed truck or something and stack up some hay back there and just ride around the neighborhood, take the kids to different parts of the neighborhood. It's a pretty big neighborhood. Oh, you did see it at my auction today? You mean last night? I didn't see you say hello, Vanessa. You were lurking, huh? That's okay. I don't blame you. I do a lot of lurking too. Sometimes I just want to watch and not really socialize. You had a lot of snow last week. How did you like that, Vanessa? Did it keep you home? You ate a lot of Halloween candy. Yeah. See, that's what happens. I just had 2 today. And see, luckily I told Robert, get the good stuff. Don't be coming in with those little tiny little twisty things with those sour candies. I don't know what they're called. I want to say dum-dums, but dum-dums are the little the little lollipops that are teeny tiny. So he did bring some Hershey's, Mr. Goodbar, Paydays. I guess it was all Hershey brand. They were good. I didn't eat them all. I did eat two though. I had a Payday, little mini Payday, and a Mr. Goodbar. I almost went back and got more, but I didn't. It's been nice weather for you, Miss Barbara. You're moving to Maryland now? Really, Vanessa? But it's cold there too. Is it colder? I don't know. Is it? Oh my gosh, you just up and move. That's kind of cool though. I kind of like that. Being able to just up and move when you want. Hi, Miss Kathleen. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's very, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of liberating to do that kind of thing. You know, I've been thinking a lot about that kind of stuff lately. I have some students that, you know, it's funny. I'm going to talk about myself today. So again, if you don't want to hear about me, don't stay. Just hit the thumbs up and go. No, I'm joking. But I have a young girl, and my classroom is a mix. It really is. It is a self-contained classroom. So I have some really low kids, but I have some kids that, I mean, I hate to say it, but I sometimes have to just come to the truth and just state it. And we may not want to hear it, and we may want to gloss it, and we may attenuate it and make it sound better than it is, but it's public school. And in public school, you pretty much take what you can get. So a lot of these children, really, I think they could benefit from being in another classroom, though their IQ does keep them in this particular room. But I also feel like they were shortchanged in some ways. In the beginning, their parents may have moved a lot. Their parents are immigrants. Their parents may even have worse financial situations than we'd like to say. But different things like that have been, you know, that's the baggage they carry. And this child really wants to be in the military, and that's all she talks about, because we really are supposed to be preparing them for their careers once they reach 13 in the special ed department. That's kind of what our emphasis is once they get into middle school, is to start talking to them about what they want to be and what they want to see themselves doing. And of course, many of them will say these high, lofty goals like pilot and things like that. So we have to kind of bring them down a little bit to reality and see what they really can do in that particular field. But she says military. And she's already looked it up. She's researched it. She knows exactly which one she wants to be. She knows the code number or whatever. You know how they have a certain name for their career path in the Army. But she's got it already all planned out. And I think that's really fabulous. And I bring that up because Vanessa says she's moving here and there. But I know Vanessa is a widow and a mature woman. But I remember thinking that I wanted to be in the military when I was a teenager. I really did. I wanted to join the military so badly. That was kind of like just a path I just thought would be kind of cool. Maybe I just wanted to leave home. I don't know. But my mom told me I was crazy and didn't let me do it. But I always think that's such a cool thing to just have that adventuresome attitude when you're young, right? One of the biggest YouTubers on here that I watch, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but she's been on here since YouTube opened its doors in 2005. Her name is Dulce Candy, and she's got several channels now, but she started out as a beauty influencer. And I always found her so intriguing because she was not only a Mexican immigrant, actually illegal immigrant, or illegal alien, as she calls herself and has talked about it and everything. But she joined the military, and that's what drew her to YouTube, was the fact that when she was in the military, everything had to be so masculine, and she was, you know, she had her duties fixing tanks, I guess. And she found YouTube, and YouTube was new. It was brand new, 2005. And so she was basically the original influencer, the original makeup guru influencer. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful young woman. I think she's got 2 children now. She's in her 30s, maybe mid 30s or something. but she's a millionaire. She became a millionaire through YouTube. But I think it was, and she also said, I just wanted to do something with my life, get away from LA, get away from my family. She had a big family, and, you know, she just saw it as, who would ever think, right, that your future is ever changing. It's, you just never know what it holds. And here was a young woman in 17, 18 years old, joined the military, and through that sought some refuge in the internet. And so she would bring hauls. She would do things like make, I think she was selling or buying and selling. I don't know exactly if you can do that in the military, but she was doing Mary Kay, right? Mary Kay makeup. So she would do little tutorials. She's beautiful, as I said. And so she was the original makeup guru. So then she just got millions and millions of subscribers. And now I think she's got like 5 channels. She probably has 5 million subscribers altogether, and makes her money with the library of YouTube videos that she has. And she continues to make them. And she's gone, of course, like most people who want to grow on this platform, they know they have to change. It's not always the same thing. People get tired of seeing you do the same thing. There's new people doing it, so they want to watch them as well. So she's done spiritual type of videos, self-help type of videos, and that kind of thing. Being close to your family is important. Yeah, absolutely, Vanessa. Says Becky, being close to your family is important. It absolutely is. It's really the only thing that in my case, what keeps me motivated, what is my why, and the reason I entitled it My Why is because we often get asked that. To me, it sounds like a silly question, but I know it's a rhetorical question when we go to teacher meetings and teacher trainings, and they always hand you, a stack of books on teacher motivation and what is your why and so forth. So that's why I entitled it that. But that is my why, is my family. But it's also my students. It really is. And I think people know that. And I think the public schools often take advantage of teachers because they know that. They know that that is our why. They know that we don't teach for money. We certainly don't teach for respect, because I feel that we don't really get it, especially not from administrators, admin. I feel like and this is not the first. I think this is really the last couple of years is when I've come to realize it, with little nuances of how they really do treat teachers like students. They do treat them like children, even when they're trying to be motivational and appreciative, like teacher appreciation or something. They will literally give us toys, literally like toys, like little rubber bands to put on our hands, those little like Live Strong rubber bands that were so popular like 10 years ago. Literally, I found that in my box, in my mailbox. I'm like, really? You spent how much to order 200 of these? You couldn't just put, a gift card in there? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. But that's a very common thread. And many, as you know, I am a special education teacher. You may or may not know, but I am a special education teacher, and it's a really tough job. Teaching is tough. I'm not going to say it's tougher than the English teacher, because God knows she's got a lot of things to do too. And right now with the, overhaul that's happening in schools, and people are really micromanaging every single thing that gets done in that room. To the point where they are coming in, 8 times instead of 3 times per year. They're coming in more like 8 to 10 times. They're staying twice as long, 3 times as long. So it's very, very tough. But when you are a special education teacher, you have to do triple. You have to do like everything in triple, and it's all different because it's for the state, it's for the district, and it's for the school. So it's extremely, extremely difficult, and it's extremely difficult to stay motivated. But again, my why is knowing that some of these kids, most all kids, I shouldn't say some, all kids deserve a chance. All kids deserve a chance, and some of them won't take advantage of it. Some of them will. Some of them may not have the skills to do what they say they want to do, but I feel like I have to do what I can do to make that happen. I I don't want to just say, "Oh, your dreams are too big." I really have to, like I said, attenuate and bring it down a little bit to reality. What are we going to do? Okay, you want to be a pilot? Can we start by maybe, studying about what that takes and things like that? But it is difficult, and it's really, I think the thing that keeps me where I'm not regretting waking up in the morning and getting to my job is that I do establish goals. Do you like to establish goals for what you do? Do you, if you're in resale or if you just maybe you're retired, do you have goals that you put forth? I have a goal right now that I think I have already exhausted many of the areas of my specialty, which is special education. I feel I've worked at resource. So I kind of am a co-teacher. I've worked again in the self-contained classroom, but I really want to focus on the adult child. I know many I started as a para, and then I did autism therapy. So I've worked in the clinics where children do not function in classrooms. They literally cannot function in a classroom. And I have some of those students with me right now that we're trying to figure out where placement for them, because it's very real. And it's just it's almost like a misconception that people have of children with autism or children with special needs. And nobody wants to hear the really hairy part. Nobody wants to hear the hard part. There's been drama here on YouTube about it. Someone discovered their child had autism at the age of 3, took it very, very hard. Both of these people were YouTubers, very highly influenced status, and they were at each other's throat about it because one couldn't see the tragedy that the other saw. And there's two or three schools of thought about that right now. There's many people who keep contending that autism is just another form of thinking. It's just another, they don't even want to call it normal or abnormal. It's typical and non-typical. They're even changing the name from special education to exceptional education. And those little things kind of wear on you after a while, because when you've worked in the field as long as I have, to the severe in a mental health institution, to those that are what laymen call high functioning, clinics will not call them that. It's not a medical term. There is a big difference, but what's happening is they're getting lost once they leave school. Once they leave the school system, there's just a real vacancy about it. It's just like, what do we do now? All this time from pre-K to 12th grade, and we do keep them in the public school till the age of 22. All this time, it's, they're cute, and some of them are, and they are. Some of them are absolutely cute, and we can manage some behavior, and we can get them some to read and write and do math and play chess and do many wonderful things. But no, they're not all Temple Grandin. They're not all going to accomplish what Temple Grandin has accomplished or the CEOs in Silicon Valley have accomplished. Most of them will be in a very hard place where we have to find out what to do. So my goal this year, honestly, for probably next year, I was talking about leaving the classroom itself to try to pursue a goal that I'm thinking of. And I know a lot of people, my sister included, I have to stop her. I have to slap her when she says, "Oh, she's only a year older than me." And I'll tell her something about this or the other. And she'll say, "Oh, I'm too old to do that. I can't do that." And I'll be like, let's look around you. Look at all the politicians around us that are just now running for office, just now doing this. What makes us think we can't do what we want to do? So I want to pursue another degree. Actually, it's a certification. It may be a degree too, but I do want to pursue another certification for life coach.
I really think that's where I'm drawn to right now is with the adult student. I want to help him transition to work and to live independently. And I think that's another area of my profession that people don't understand. Even at my own school, they don't understand it. And I'm kind of tired of teaching it to the adults. I've gotten to the point where I'm exhausted of teaching adults about autism. I think they're just a little bit too lazy to even pick up a book and learn, watch some videos and learn what are we dealing with, what we deal with. Let me see what people are saying. Julie says, my youngest son has autism. He had speech and language for 3 years because he was delayed. He's now 22 and learning how to be a mechanic. That's awesome. What a great story. See, that motivates me. What a great story. So many like that, though, too. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are many like that. What I don't like is the black and white, where people refuse to see that there is difficulties. There are kids that will never learn to speak. There are kids that will never learn to function in society as we deem typical. So, but there doesn't mean there, what is that, a gnat in here? That doesn't mean that I have a lot of plants in here, so I may have some gnats running around. That doesn't mean there is no place for them. That doesn't mean the training and all of that is out there. But honestly, that is what keeps me going. That is what motivates me, is to always have new goals, to always remind myself not to act my age. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I should retire because I'm in my 60s and pretty soon it's going to be, it'll be all right. The government will say, yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. But what am I going to do when I see so many things go wrong that I think I can shape? How do I avoid burnout? Well, again, that's what I'm kind of talking about right now. I burn out on certain things, but really there's nothing to stop you from burning out. There's just I think you just light another fire. You really there's change every day. Something's going to change, something's different. There's going to be a new student, there's going to be a new principal, there's going to be a new admin, there's going to be a new superintendent. Someone's going to have a brilliant idea. It's going to probably flop. Then someone else will have another brilliant idea. And in the end, I just have to respect what's happening, respect it, and give it a try. I think, if there's no ideas, then there's no growth as well. If someone that has a few more degrees on their wall than I do tells me this may work, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try and see what happens. But that's kind of what I find myself doing, is just looking forward to new goals, to new ways that I can affect these children that I've come to really think that we owe them a right to live with purpose, and advocates and people that care about them. Because I hate sugarcoating things, and I hate breaking it to people, and people that think everything is so hunky-dory and everyone is taken care of when they're not. I've had to call CPS on parents. I've had to, and that was just from the kids that I have right now, that I've had for the last 2 years. I've had to call CPS for parents that are neglectful, for siblings that hit their disabled sibling. And I mean, it really hurts to do that, because that the child will always choose the family, right? And that's just a psychological fact. When children are abused, they still want to go back to their abusive parent. And I'm not talking, any kind of, I'm talking mostly neglect and things of that nature. But it does occur, and it's a horrible thing. But it makes my job really, really difficult, it makes it very difficult because I have to think of the welfare of the child and not of what he really wants, which is a perfect little home. And and sometimes that perfect little home doesn't exist, and it's really unfortunate when it's a child that has so many needs. Hi, Miss Mia. Let me see. Miss Kathleen says my dad was a public school administrator and teacher, principal at high school. I went. Oh, how wonderful! Oh, that's awesome. Things are so different these days, though. They really are. And the reason that the schools are being so micromanaged is because it's really dire. There I think it's 32% of children by 3rd grade, only 32% of children in public schools, not just in the Houston area, but other. I think he was saying it was nationwide. It's average are reading by 3rd grade. Well, we have to think, why is that? It's not just the immigrant children. It's not just the disadvantaged children. It's children of all ages and of all socioeconomic, not ages, socioeconomic status. And it's their new world order of the internet, of attention spans that don't exist, and parents that are forced to work, uh, two parents that are forced to work just to put food on the table. Many don't have the two parents. Many are single parent households, and those make a huge difference. Absolute huge difference. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's politically incorrect to say so. A father is needed in a home desperately, desperately, especially for young men. Especially, I think I told you guys about that very angry young man I had last year or 2 years ago. And oh my gosh, he didn't have any parents. He was just being shuffled around from aunt and uncle, and the mom was here, the dad was there, and all he ever wrote about was his parents. And this was a strapping 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid who longed for that love, that attention that no one gets. Was anybody else heartbroken? Well, I'm sure the whole world was, or a lot of the world was, over Matthew Perry's passing. I'm reading his biography, and it is so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking, but again, legacy. And he will definitely help a lot of people with that book, his memoirs. And that's what he was doing at the very end of his life. But he did talk a lot about being an unaccompanied minor, is how he opens the chapter. And because he was flown back and forth from his divorced parents. And it's very telling. It's so very telling. And psychiatrists who've examined the topic, and they were talking about his book, and they were saying, it's just it's such a farce for us to sit here and say that divorce has no effect on children and that they're resilient and so forth. No, I think someone likened it to blowing up the planet that they live on, when their families are obliterated like that. And I'm not saying about, of course, there's exceptions, abuse and drugs and whatnot, if families are facing that kind of dynamic, that kind of dysfunction. But yeah, kids need to be in families that don't exist anymore. Those are, what did we call them in the 60s, 70s, 80s? The nuclear family. It doesn't exist. It's been obliterated. And we are facing that very, very fact in public schools. And the privileged are becoming more and more privileged because they're privileged in so many more ways other than money. But that's what keeps me motivated, feeling that I can help at least one or two. I won't be able to help all the children as much as I want to, mostly because I'm too busy doing work. Mostly because they want me to turn in everything in triple. And sometimes I break the rules, and I don't care. I will sit there and try to do a lesson extra long, or try to, I feel like someone of higher authority is watching, And I think I'm doing the better deal there. And if I have to lose my job because I prefer to teach a child how to read or how to spell or how to write a correct sentence and not just turn in something on the computer. That's another thing that I think is totally ruining the minds of today is the computer, even the school computer, because tapping away, clicking and guessing and has totally clouded the child's mind. Let me go back and see what you guys are saying. My glasses are filthy. I can barely see. Oh, thank you. I don't tap myself on the back. Absolutely not. I know that my methods are not perfect, and I know that my heart sometimes shouldn't even be in it. Honestly, according to them, my heart should not be in it. It should just be robotic. It should be systematic. It should be methodic. And I'll go with it. I'll go with it and I'll give your method a try. But then I feel like, oh, well, that little girl over there, she really wants to do this, and I'm really going to help her do that. And then when she did it, and she emailed me in the middle of the night through our school email and showed me her paper, and it was so fabulous. And 2 years ago, she could not spell a simple word, and it's not because of me. It's not because of me. It's just because she wants to, I suppose, and I gave her the chance to do it, and I encouraged her to do it. Oh, thank you, Amelia. I don't know if you're the one who asked me about it, but that's what I try to do. Set those goals. I really do want to be a transition coach, a life transition coach. So we will work in schools as well, but we'll be kind of a liaison between the parent, the corporation, and the school. And this is where some of the corporations like Goodwill and HEB and other places come in to play as well, because they'll do training, they'll do that kind of thing. We'll figure out where they're going to live once they reach the age of 22, if they choose to. Legal ramifications come into play as well because they are legal adults. So they have to sign over their rights, I suppose, of autonomy and that kind of thing. But I think I could enjoy that. I don't know. I think I'll give it a try. I'm just going to I think I signed a contract with that included stipends and all of that stuff. So I think I'm obligated to stay at this particular position for another year. And then I'm going to look into that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The Chromebook. Oh my gosh. I did do a little bit with the Chromebook this year in that I wanted to utilize it just for typing. So, excuse me. So we found some typing things because I feel like many of them will never learn to write. I know I have at least 3 who can't even hold a pencil, but they are intrigued by the computer. They do know how to surf the net, unbelievably so, but they do. I had one last year who would literally crash into Zoom meetings. It was her favorite thrill of the day was to just hop onto some Zoom meeting that was going on in the school. She would get a kick out of it. But that's the only skill I want them to learn on Chromebook is how to type. Because as I said, many of them will not even pick up a pencil. They don't have the fine motor skills for that. But I feel like if they at least learn that, how to put their fingers on the keyboard, and we have special keyboards and everything for some of them, that would be a benefit. But there's nothing like taking that pencil to your hand, to the paper. The neurons that are fired are completely different from a Chromebook. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is it's so funny, but right before the pandemic, they had already started issuing the Chromebooks. So when we broke for that spring break, we all had Chromebooks. And conveniently, we were all locked down and we all had our Chromebooks already. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, I don't know how I think it's Verizon that provides them for free. Let me see what Goddess Red says. Goddess Red says, retired mental health counselor here. It's a sad state of affairs out there as far as education in the US. I agree about the paperwork getting in the way of the work. Oh, thank you so much. I love you too. I appreciate that. Confianza ASMR Boutique. I've thought about my next career. Good. I want to own a coffee shop and talk to people, open early and have teacher discounts. Oh my gosh. Let us know where it is. I love that. That's so cool. Yeah. I think that's so amazing where people can just get up and go from their established career. I know Medicine Man on here has a YouTube. He's actually got a podcast and he broadcasts here on YouTube as well. Calls himself Medicine Man because he left medicine. He was a physician and he left it to open the art studio. And now he interviews artists and of all kinds, artisans, artists, Native American. I believe he's in Tucson, Arizona, somewhere in the Southwest. Then there's another gentleman I follow. He is a physician out of Canada. I think he has about 4 channels, millions of subscribers, and he makes wonderful motivational videos. But he started by making videos about studying for medical school. He realized his gift was here on the internet as an influencer. So he left medicine. But boy, did I learn something interesting about Canada. He stated that he was never going to be able to make more than 50K as a physician in Canada. Socialized medicine that we all need and want. It has its drawbacks, I suppose, for a professional. But yeah, that's quite interesting. He's making less than small town teachers. I think some of the smallest towns in Texas make around 46, 50K. So I thought that was very interesting. But again, I guess you have to have another calling, not just money, especially in Canada. But the US is not far behind. Many of my physician friends said long ago, medicine is no longer going to be a viable career for anyone who wants to have an income, a comfortable income. Yeah. You thought about your next career. That is just so cool. I think that's a great idea. They also allow, Ben Dem 63 says they also allow the students to keep their phones in class. I couldn't believe that. Yeah, some of them do. I think they do. We have a rule, and I'm in middle school, that they keep it off in the backpack. Nobody does it. You have to always be on their case. Always. I have mine put it in a little bucket when they walk in. And only a few of my students actually have a phone. I think about 4 of them do. And I have 18 kids right now. But in the other classes, that's the rule. But I'm sure many of them break it. And then sometimes they allow them to play these kind of interactive games for the classroom. So the teacher will put on some kind of a quiz, and I think Kahoot, I think, is one of them. And so they can play on their phone and everything. But no, the phone is an absolute culprit. There is no denying that. That phone is the enemy of the student. They don't know that. I can't tell you how many kids have gotten into fights with the teachers over the telephone, over trying to take the phone. It's crazy. Thank you, Julie. I am wearing my old turquoise and that Tiffany necklace, and this was just a little cross that I think it's faux turquoise I've had forever. And I was actually selling a lot of this on my auction last night over on Facebook, and most of it did not sell. Not these beautiful little slivers. I've had these since the 70s, and I have 3 strands of that. But another one. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pile it all on today. Yeah, the phone is definitely the enemy. I also try not to compare myself to others. I think that's definitely something that will motivate no one, is to compare yourself to others in any way. I don't compare myself in YouTube land at all. I know I've been here a very long time, but I know that when I started, I didn't start to be the top seller. I didn't stop to be the top thrifter. I didn't start to be the top jewelry aficionado or unbagger or whatever. I just did a lot of I did a lot of different vlogs and thrift hauls. I haven't done a real thrift haul in a long, long time. It's been a while. I kind of miss doing the thrift hauls, and I do have some thrift with me videos. So stay tuned for those. This is not all we do, but if you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. But I don't compare myself to that because, again, I just started doing these videos for fun. Yes, they became quite lucrative and quite um, influential, I suppose. And with that came monetization. So that's wonderful. This is a second gig for me now. But again, as we all know, money only buys you so much. It only is like kind of like keeping score, I guess. But I do get really, really excited and very motivated when I get emails and I get comments. I got one recently that said, "Thank you for turning me on to Whatnot. I made $1,000 in sales in just, I think, 2 or 3 nights that she sold over there." So, it's not just, like I said, it's not me. It's not anything I said. I certainly haven't done any true tutorials, but I would like to do that. If you're interested, leave it in the comments on Whatnot, on selling. But it's that someone heard something, someone tapped into it, and someone took advantage of it, because God only knows I've preached this internet utopia for many, many years and to many, many people, and most people dismiss it. So when someone takes advantage of it and does it, it really makes me happy. It really motivates me to keep making videos. Or when somebody says, "I go to sleep to your voice at night because it's relaxing and I like the sound of the jewelry," or I'm stressed and I like to watch it. Oh, I have so many videos that I use for that as well. And I feel, I mean, I'm just as needy in that way as well. I like to watch certain things, not because I want to be a part of that group, or I think that I do learn a lot. I do, not so much with jewelry, but with other things that are more important to me, like how to speak, how to be a better teacher, how to take criticism, how not to take things personally, especially at work, because it really is. It's just like work is just like high school, only, the pool is a little bit smaller, but there's still those, people get along with these people, they don't get along with these people. They let people do this, but they don't let the others do that. And it's all the same thing. It really is. And I've kind of learned these last few years that coworkers are not your friends. It's not that they're not good people. I've been very blessed with the new paraprofessional that I have. My other one, unfortunately, had to leave back to Brazil for an extended stay. Hopefully she'll be back. But they're not my friends. I don't have to invite them to lunch. I don't have to invite them to happy hour. I don't have to be invited to happy hour. I buy them, if I want, a Christmas gift or a Valentine's gift. The one I had before, she would leave and she would bring me gifts. And I just felt so touched by it. She's just, that's her nature, but I don't feel like that's my nature. But I appreciate her gestures, her wonderful, friendly gestures were very appreciated. But I don't also want to feel like I'm obligated to be anybody's friend. I think that's a thing that comes with maturity, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not maturity. Not some people never mature, right? Some people are the same all their lives. I think I studied that in psychology. By the age of 5, your personality is set, and you pretty much become set and rooted, like my beautiful plants. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Thank you again, everyone who's here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Goddess Red. I'm glad you've learned something about jewelry from me. You can't wait for the next jewelry jar. I just did one today. I will say this, because we were watching Well, I recorded and I did a live on the community garage sale. And remember that little ring? It is a James Avery. It is a mini little James Avery, and I didn't think it was because I was looking for the JA on the charm itself, and it was on the ring. So my very astute viewer said, "That's an Avery bingo," and I was like, I thought it was an Avery, but then I didn't think it was an Avery because I didn't see it behind a little sand dollar. But no, and it fits perfectly. I mean, perfectly. It is not big. It is not small on my pinky ring. And I think I paid $2. Remember, I picked it up at the table. The community garage sale. I'm so excited about that. Hi, Deborah. How are you? Off to bed. See you later. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for popping in. Let me see if anybody else said any other thing here. Any questions? Please feel free to ask me any questions that you may have, whether it's about jewelry or my why or anything like that. Sometimes you have to break the rules. Amen. I'm a rule breaker. I really am. I am a rule breaker, and then I just deal with it. I really do. I feel like, what are they going to do? Fire me? Well, they can fire me. They can fire me, and I know my skills are highly sought after. I am in a field where nobody wants to be. Very few people want to do the job I do. Not that many people speak Spanish. I speak Spanish, so I'm bilingual. So I do have that skill as well, marketable skill. And if they want me to go, I will find another home. And I don't think it'll take me that long. Do you find yourself motivating others? You know what I get a thrill out of, Amelia? I get a thrill out of telling someone something they don't know about autism and children with autism or children with needs, with special needs. And this can be even Down syndrome babies. A lot of the things that we use in the classroom and that I learned in the clinic working as a therapist was ABA. And that you would be surprised how many people have gone up that proverbial ladder, the echelons of authority, and don't know the first thing about what a child with special needs, how we can shape their behavior and not let them shape ours, because the behaviors are there because many of the children cannot speak to us. Therefore, their only way of showing us what they want, what they need is with behavior. It'll be aberrant behavior. It'll be flopping, throwing things, screaming, banging, running, oversensory overload. So when I tell someone how they can remedy that when they're in their classroom or when they're at gym or when they're in art and they don't know, and their eyes literally open up with like, wow, that makes so much sense. I get a real thrill out of that. I really do. But I get more thrilled when I see them use it, when I see them use the sign language that I use, like waiting and stop and listen and, time and later and clean up. And then I see them use it and I'm like, that makes me feel really good because it's a skill I learned from others. And it's a way of communicating with the children that helps them to process it faster because they have a delay in processing, because they have cognitive challenges. And when someone who probably makes 2 times more than you do, because again, they have 2 degrees, 3 degrees on the wall, but they have never been trained in ABA or anything, any of the new ways of teaching and shaping behavior. It's quite thrilling to see their eyes open up and say, wow, that makes sense. But then they still put a pile of paper, do this, do this, do this. And don't forget to do it 3 times. And then don't forget to do this. And don't you be late. No, they don't tell me that. Thank you, Amelia. So that's fun. I like doing that. I was thrilled to see my para using the sign language that I use, and the P coach that we have adaptive coach now, and he's learned some things that I've taught him, and he's appreciated it as well, because many times I see kids being treated as children younger than they are. These are middle school kids. So we can't get down on our knees and talk to them as if they were 4 or 5 years old. We can't talk to them in a baby voice. We can't pat them on the back every time they're having a meltdown, or tousle their hair or anything like that. That's not going to help them. And putting on their jackets when all they, when you have to teach them to look for the arm in the sleeve and to struggle with that button. And it would be easy for me to just go and button and zip and whatever. But this kid's going on 13 years old. He's going to be 18 in 5 years, and no one's going to be doing that. Oh my gosh, I'm freezing again. Mhm. Oh, my internet. I'm not going to go live anymore with this thing. Crazy, crazy.